Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. You know, all these fanboys, groupies, and idiots out here are thinking the same thing again and again and again. And that thing is, they're buying into the Errol Spence Jr. hype and myth. And what I mean by the hype and myth is people are ranking Errol Spence Jr. up there with a Floyd Mayweather Jr. And that's not to say that Errol Spence Jr. doesn't have talents, doesn't have abilities. He does. He's a very good fighter. He's an entertaining fighter. He's an enjoyable fighter. And, you know, to the contrary of what a lot of people think about Errol Spence Jr., he does talk a lot of trash. But, you know, he talks it in a very subtle way, so it tends to go unnoticed. He's not very brash about the way he comes across with things. So what we're going to do is debunk the myth of Errol Spence Jr. And this is what I mean by debunking the myth of Errol Spence Jr. You know, everybody thinks that Errol Spence Jr. fought Mikey Garcia because Errol Spence Jr. was being ducked by the entire welterweight division. No one wanted to fight Errol Spence Jr. No one wanted to see Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. was the most feared man at 147 pounds. This is what everyone was saying. And since these guys put out that rhetoric, since all these biased boxing channels put out that rhetoric, Dante's Bias Nation, Bias Ego, the LDBC fangirls, all these biased reporters put out this garbage that everyone was ducking Errol Spence Jr. All these morons tended to believe it and take it as truth and fact. And when the truth of the matter is, Errol Spence Jr. wasn't being ducked. Errol Spence Jr. was not being avoided. And let's just go back and check receipts just to make sure that we have an understanding about who did what and why. Because first of all, Errol Spence Jr. openly stated when asked about Terrence Crawford after the Carlos Ocampo fight, he never even entertained the question. Interesting. The next point is that Errol Spence Jr. came out and stated, I'm not willing to cross the street to fight Terrence Crawford. I'm not willing to fight on ESPN. I'm a PBC fighter. I'm not fighting on ESPN. But, you know, the funny thing about Errol Spence saying he's his own boss, you know, he works for himself and all his groupies, you know, backing him up. Okay, you work for yourself, your own boss. There's no bigger platform to fight on in sports and entertainment than ESPN. Why would you not go fight on ESPN, get Terrence Crawford's belt, and unify? You say strap season, right? That's your motto, strap season. You say you're getting the straps. You say you want to fight the best, be the best. No one wanted to fight you, so you decided to fight a guy 2 divisions under you. Yeah, I understand he called you out, but you didn't have to take the fight. You could have fought somebody and unified a belt. Because, you know, you understand that guys call out Canelo Alvarez 2 divisions under him all the time. Keith Thurman called out Canelo Alvarez. Did you see Canelo Alvarez take it, or did he fight the best in the division? And that's exactly what he did. Canelo Alvarez fought the Triple G. Canelo Alvarez fought the Danny Jacobs. So let's bust down this myth of Errol Spence Jr. because these guys are being intellectually dishonest with themselves. Errol Spence Jr. was not avoided like he say he was, because he had a perfect and golden opportunity to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. Even more recently, when Terrence Crawford confronted Errol Spence Jr., and some people say Spence showed up on him, but it really didn't matter who showed up on what. The point was, the message was put across. These two gentlemen met face to face, and Errol Spence Jr. made it abundantly clear he was in no way, shape, or form seeking to fight Terrence Crawford anytime soon. And you could tell that was 110% a duck. But, you know, the media doesn't run with that. You know, these Errol Spence Jr. fanboys and groupies, they don't run with that. They tend to ignore facts. And then there's these other things where people call out and say that, you know, Errol Spence Jr. is a killer. He's a monster. He's going to destroy this guy. He's going to destroy that guy. Is that what he's really going to do? Is that what he's really going to do? Okay. So let's say what you're saying is right. Let's say that Errol Spence Jr. is this killer. He's this guy, and he's just this monster. Okay. So let's just break down Kell Brook. Let's go back to Kell Brook. Kell Brook was giving Errol Spence Jr. more problems than anyone in his fight up to that point, or even since. Kell Brook gave Errol Spence Jr. more problems than he ever had. And Kell Brook is a guy who fights right into Errol Spence Jr.'s hand, who has poor head movement. Kell Brook's head movement is worse than Errol Spence Jr.'s, and he's sitting in the pocket to fight him. And Kell Brook not only was coming off a knockout loss, was not only coming down in weight, but was also damaged from his prior fight with Gennady Golovkin. Because the true fact is, once one orbital bone breaks in your face, the other is 10 times more likely to break. Errol Spence Jr. is not some monster or some killer that goes around and breaking guys' eye sockets. Name one other fighter eye socket he broke. Just one. You can't, because that's not who he is. Triple G does that. See, you have to understand that Errol Spence Jr. is taking the hype and the credit off of the back of Gennady Golovkin, the fact that he destroyed Kell Brook's career at that point. Kell Brook went up in weight when he shouldn't have. Kell Brook went up and challenged a guy, and he didn't have the right skill set. People always like to make the comparison with Mikey moving up to face Spence is the same as Brook moving up to face Triple G. And that's not the same at all, because Errol Spence Jr. hasn't accomplished or shown as much talent or skill as Gennady Golovkin. And then on the reverse end, Mikey Garcia has shown way more talent, way more skills, and won world titles in way more divisions than Kell Brook. So these analogies don't even make sense. These are just groupies, responses, and fanboys who don't understand what they're talking about. We have to debunk the myth of Errol Spence Jr. Then these guys come out and they say Errol Spence Jr. is so feared, nobody wants to fight him. Look how he destroyed this guy. So you're saying he destroyed Kell Brook? He didn't end the Kell Brook fight with a body shot. He didn't put Kell Brook to sleep. Kell Brook stopped fighting in the 11th round because he couldn't see. So for all these guys to say that Errol Spence Jr. is this monster, this killer, this dog, he's a good fighter, he's entertaining, but you're overrating him. And we're going to debunk that myth right now. See, think about him. Fight Hype, April 7, 2018. Fight Hype was in Las Vegas. And that's when Kell Brook confronted Errol Spence Jr. over a rematch, a possible rematch. And Errol Spence Jr., was timid, not interested in it, because if Kell Brook was so scared, if Kell Brook was so badly destroyed, and Kell Brook felt this immense power by this monster in Errol Spence Jr., why would he go out of his way, come to the United States, and confront Errol Spence Jr. for a rematch? Why would he do that? Why would he do that? And you see that Errol Spence Jr. was not entertaining, because Errol Spence Jr. said, oh, no one wants to fight me. No one wants to fight, but you're okay with fighting Carlos Ocampo. You're okay with fighting Lamont Peterson. I think that anyone would have much rather seen a Kell Brook rematch than Lamont Peterson, Carlos Ocampo, because we knew that that was the most competitive fight that you've had. Give Kell Brook a rematch. He didn't want to do it. So you have to understand, you can say Kell Brook is this and that, because he didn't want to fight a guy that he felt that power. He knew he was in danger, because Kell Brook, at the end of the day, was a damaged fighter. Now, I don't know if Kell Brook could beat, Errol Spence Jr. in a rematch, but I know the reason why Kell Brook wanted the rematch was because he felt that Errol Spence Jr. is beatable. He was in the ring with him. He landed a lot of big shots on him, and he knew that if he came in the right way, with enough time to recover, with the right conditioning and the right game plan, he could beat Errol Spence Jr. because he arguably won the first 6 rounds. Anybody that's honest is 100% unbiased when you see that. And, you have all these idiots saying, Errol Spence Jr. is a beast. He needs to do this. And then set all these unfair expectations for Kell Brook. Oh, Kell Brook needs to go win a title at 154. Really? Did Carlos Ocampo have to do that? Because I guarantee you, you'd make way more money facing Kell Brook in a rematch in the UK than you would ever have made facing Carlos Ocampo, because he knows the danger and inherent risk in facing Kell Brook twice. He already made him look bad once, and this was the weakened, destroyed version of Kell Brook. That's the problem. Now, I would still favor Errol Spence Jr. in a rematch, because Kell Brook has so many deficiencies on defense that I don't believe he can mask them all. But I think that he would make Errol Spence Jr. look even worse in a rematch. And I don't even know if Errol Spence Jr. would pull off the win, but I would slightly favor him in a win over Kell Brook. And that just goes to show that Errol Spence Jr. is not this monster. He's not 100% feared by all these guys. And Errol Spence Jr. has openly ducked Terrence Crawford. He's fighting Mikey Garcia because he didn't want to fight the best guys in his current division. So he's more willing to fight a guy in the lower division. Yes, we understand that Mikey called him out. But just like Canelo Alvarez being called out by Keith Thurman and all these other guys, unifies, he still fights the best in his division, still unifies because he's a true champion. He's serious about unifying a division. And when you have a moniker named Strap Season, but yet you don't want to unify at the first available opportunity, what does that say about you? Once again, it's the Ibfp Unbiased. As always, please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.